Hello everyone, did you miss me? Well, I'm back again to ring that bell. This is another sicko's case that put a whole state through hell. I'm dark with the facts and hopefully the beats will swell. His buildings boomed as his bombs fell. This is Rhymes and Crimes, where the truth is going to tell. So blazes erupted, the nights were turned red. There were houses in ashes, the city, it was in dread. Who sparked the flames? The rumors spread. Malls went up and brush fires roared. Families ran, destruction scored. California burned and the flames were ignored. A toy store blazed in a sudden storm. A shopping plaza twisted and deformed. Each fire strange, not the nature's norm. From 84 on, the fires grew, random and relentless with no clear clue. Each scene felt staged, the investigators knew. The pattern whispered of a human hand, a phantom moving across the land, leaving chaos that no one had planned. Teams combed through with sharpened eyes. They were searching for evidence, but the truth was in disguise. But the arsonists always escaped their ties. A lot of fires with the same design. It was wires and plastic, a deadly design. A signature left, though, in every line. The hunt went wide and suspicions grew, but the guilty face was still in view. Standing among them, no one knew. If you like your mysteries wild, drop a like tonight. Hit that button and keep the truth in sight. Because this is Rhymes and Crimes, baby, where the shadows ignite. And now back to the case. Surveillance caught him near the scene. His pockets held tools, his notebook keen. His notes traced blazes he'd lit unseen. Paper matches, devices small, polyester film to ignite it all. His signature echoed through each hall. The puzzle solved, the mask torn down. A hero revealed as a fire clown. He was chasing glory while burning down towns. The man they trusted to solve their flame was the one who lit it. John Orr was his name. Fire's own friend, his hunger, his shame. A fire captain, sharp and wise, teaching recruits and protecting eyes, yet hiding behind his own disguise. A novel told of a fire friend, but the details matched what the cops had seen. A fiction mask for the crime obscene. So in 91, the cuffs came tight. John Orr's dark secret was brought to light. The fires he lit condemned his night. Charged with murders from the deadly flame, he was convicted guilty, his fate became. Life in prison, forever the same. So remember the sparks that hide in disguise. Not every hero wears honest eyes. Sometimes the truth is darker than surprise. This is Rhymes and Crimes. We rhyme it real, the stories revealed, and the pain they conceal. Subscribe for the truth that flames can't steal. Thank you guys for joining me for real. This story is heavy, but it's told with care. A tribute to Lisa, cause her light is still there. She was a mother-to-be, strong and brave. We honor her life, her laughter, and her name. This is a memorial of love, not just sorrow and pain. Through rhythm and rhyme, her memory stays, forever remembered in endless ways. In Alton shadows, a June day turned grim. Evil unleashed by a coward within. This crime is so savage, where do I even begin? Nearly 8 months pregnant with a child to bear, a young mother's hopes was filled with summer air, but horror awaited inside her lair. Her mother tried calling, but only silence replied. It's a mother's instinct though, it's something inside. So she raced to the home where her daughter lied. The door was locked up to a ghastly scene. Detectives shook by the violent sin. Blood on the walls where her life had been. Bro, she was decapitated by rage so wild. Her future was stolen, mother and child. The darkness of man, grotesque defiled. Cops traced it fast, no mystery here. Holloway's hatred was brutal and clear. His cold detachment spread the fear. Their love had ended, but rage remained. Instead of walking, he chose the pain. The coward's choice, his soul profane. Captured close, he showed no remorse. A monster bound in a deadly course. Justice began its deadly force. Charged with her murder and the unborn lives too. The evidence stacked and the timeline was true. The case was so clear, even the jury knew.
Guilty!
In the May of 24, that gavel came. 60 years they tied to his cursed name, and those prison walls were the ones sealing his eternal shame. The court was hushed when the sentence read, but silence can't heal the tears still shed, or bring back life from the love now dead. Now you know the whole town lit candles, and their vigils were ablaze. The neighbors mourned in a haunting haze. Haunted still by the crime for long, long days. But Heidi speaks of her daughter's grace, her laughter bright in every space. Her dream of motherhood, time erased. The pain runs deep, but love survives. Her spirit carried in countless lives. Her name will always be remembered, and her light still thrives. So let's say her name, and let her story shine. Not just the horror, but the love she had was divine. Her memory will always be sacred, forever in time. This is Rhymes and Crimes, where the truth is told. We honor the lost, the brave, and the bold, and we keep their light in this world that can get so cold. Rest in peace, Lisa Dodd. This case is about the youngest girl ever sentenced to death by the electric chair. This case starts in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the classic tale of how jealousy grew. To an innocent life, just 19 and bright. Fresh to a college called Job Corps, she was chasing the light. Colleen Simmer was gentle with laughter to share. She came to Job Corps with hopes in the air, but Krista's dark envy was also waiting there. She feared Colleen wanted the man she claimed. Tatterall's ship to her heart was chained. With Shadola's nod, the whispers spread, and a trap was woven with malice fed. Through the wooded paths near the UT ground, the night grew colder, no soul around. A silence heavy, a deadly sound. Krista struck first, her laughter loud, mocking Colleen as she cried out loud. For 30 minutes, the torment stayed. With cuts and blows, her life was frayed. When Colleen's breath was finally gone, Krista's cruelty still carried on. A predator pride in the dark was drawn. She carved a piece from the victim's head, a trophy kept from the life she bled. She bragged to peers with a twisted grin. No shame, no guilt, I reveal in sin. And the court laid bare her monstrous crime. Witnesses spoke of the endless time. She was 18, but her soul was black. No hint of mercy and no turning back. Guilty fell and the gavel slammed. Death row claimed her, justice damned. So remember Colleen, her smile, her grace, a life cut short in the darkest place. But her memory shines and time can't erase. This is Rhymes and Crimes, where truth will rhyme. We honor the lost through rhymes and times, exposing the cruel in every line. So I bet you're wondering if she fried. She's had so many appeals filled with nothing but lies. But those appeals have all simply ran dry. Now it's only a matter of time before she fries. And you're always welcome to leave in the comments below if there's a crime you would like for me to rhyme. Until next time, stay on your grind, just like we do here at Rhymes and Crimes. Welcome to Rhymes and Crimes. Let's get into this case's details. Here's what happened. Panic expands in a fraction. Tragic attraction. Madness demanding reaction. Kelsey's responsible, positive, passionate about fashion. Graduated, celebrated, then vanished in action. 6 months with her boyfriend, the plan was routine. Target aisles, gift piles was their anniversary scene. But a predator followed, boy did he scheme. Turned a shopping cart trip into a horror machine. Cart left abandoned like an abandoned hope in the dark. Purse in the seat with a presence from the cart. Fabric protruding out the trunk, illusions were stark. Hurry, pop the trunk open, but no body and no scars. Her father was a cop and he rallied the neighbors with grit. Volunteers marching, you know the city was lit. Cops cleared the ex quick because his alibi fit. But the hours kept passing, the timeline was split. Door-to-door knocking, thousands aligned. Hope on the faces, but despair in their minds. Surveillance replayed, rewind and remind. A shadow approached her, the devil from behind. Blurry the vision, precision was blurred, but the news on the network delivered the word. A caller identified, the tip line stirred. Edwin the stalker, the story conferred. Caught with his wife, bags packed to escape, but the law pressed heavy, no room for debate. Every angle denied every shape, but the prince on the seatbelt delivered his fate. Facing execution, confession was squeezed. Gunpoint abduction, her freedom was seized. But silence remained on the forest ditches, so the cops used the signal from her cell phone released. Pings to the wood, by the lake they arrived. Hope that was fragile already had died. The body was found and innocence deprived. The town stood in mourning. The killer survived. Courtroom collisions, conviction was cast. Life without parole, his future collapsed. Her story immortaled, remembered, amassed. A candle still burning, a shadow was past. So let this be a warning when darkness aligns. Evil walks quiet through every sign. Her memory echoes in rhythm and rhymes, forever told through rhymes and crimes. I truly appreciate the fam that rides with me. So drop a like, if you hit that sub, you'll join the legacy. There's more stories to come, all cold by design. Truth told in the form, you got it, of rhythm and rhyme. Rest in peace, Kelsey Smith. Welcome back to Rhymes and Crimes, where blood-stained tales get laced in rhymes. Tonight, we step where love turns frail. A hit for a higher dream that was bound to fail. Here we go, baby. This case is in Birmingham town. Cold skies, no cheer. Islam in his ear, a father held dear. Into Muhammad's shop for a wedding dress price, but anger sparked quick and it cut like a knife. From words to fist, then clothes took flight. Islam hit hard in the brutal fight. A head wound struck, his health undone. Nazir swore blood for what had begun. Windows shattered, tensions grew. Each side burning, the hatred flew. Nazir watched his father decay and vowed revenge in a deadly way. Online scrollings, swipes in the night. Nazir set bait and Amy bit tight. From Wisconsin, a girl bored and plain, craving excitement, she boarded his train. A pet sitter by day and designer by trade, but lost in her heart and easily swayed. He whispered lies of honor and pain. Help me strike back, or my father dies in vain. He charmed her daily with digital flame. She fell for affection, she played his game. Flights overseas, romance staged. Behind the kisses, a war was raged. Through pillow talk twisted, her mind was bound. When he called for blood, she never stood down. A black market pistol she got from some guy in a dark alley, even though she was shy. She would meet with his son, but her goals would be denied. She pulled the trigger and the weapon was jammed. The target fled quicker, her mission was damned. She tried again later, but now she had to scram. Later that night, she sprayed through the glass, bullets through the windows, but none would pass. A glove in the car, that's where her DNA was trapped. The cops saw the trail, the whole plan was mapped. CCTV showed cars on the run. Evidence stacked, the net begun. They flew to the States, thought safe, thought free, but phones revealed the conspiracy. Gun tests, videos, text too raw, every mistake exposed by law. They mailed the gun to set a foe, but DNA said the truth they know. Instagram post gave up her track. Journalists traced, police struck back. In Armenia streets, her run was done. Dragged to court, no place to run. Nazir sentenced 32 years. Islam got 10, his rolls in tears. Amy fled, thought she'd disappear, but selfies exposed her loud and clear. Evidence heavy, no words could save. 44 years in a cell, her grave. From hit woman's dreams to a prison cell, a failed assassin with a tale to tell. That's the story, twisted, grim, where passion and pride led lives to dim. Nazir, Islam, Amy all lost, chasing revenge at the highest cost. Remember this lesson, keep it tight. Hate and obsession will blind your sight. And love built on lies, with crime as a friend, will only betray you in the bitter end. Thanks for tuning to Rhymes and Crimes, where I lace the truth in beat and rhymes. Drop a like, hit sub, and stick around for the next dark case that I break down. Welcome back, everybody. Sit back with your shotty and let's check out this crime scene. Alright, the details of this crime scene. It was dark, it was twisted, and this one's tragic. Aaron Fryer, he had vanished, and his home looked like a classic. There were definitely signs of a struggle. The cops showed up with their lights flashing, but there were no bodies in sight. The tension was straight up smashing. Surveillance cams were rolling. They caught a car at midnight. Driver unknown, shadows flicker, vanished from sight. Dad and Ellen, they were gone. The air was thick with fright. And the other sisters were at home, spilling all the secrets, and they would ignite. Dad wouldn't let her see Gavin because he was 19 and reckless. Too old, he said. The tension was tight. Life's necklace. Voices in the dark, middle of the night stressing. Cops and patrols out, but the streets were alive and hearts were pressing. They found them all, walking in a lane, so they were detained and interrogated. Truth was tangled in chains. Russell said Gavin was just protecting Ellen's pain, but Ellen was scheming like a queen in a power game. She said, I had no clue, but the story got screwed. The abusive dad claiming, walls smashed, and her attitude was crude. Cops knew the lies, her mind games were shrewd, and the other sisters said, nah, Dad would never do that, dude. She blamed Russell, the machete was in her fable. Dad was in the trunk, wrapped in a tarp, so unstable. But Gavin spoke up, said Ellen, he's a predator label. He tried to protect her, but the plan went fatal. Bat in hand, admitted he struck, no debate. Cops pieced it together, unraveling the fate. Ellen tried lies, close off, mind manipulate. Cops weren't buying it, the evidence just wouldn't wait. The search at Gavin's crib, plans detailed and scripted. How they were gonna get rid of Fryer, every step they depicted. conspiracy written, intentions conflicted. Justice in motion, legal gears convicted. Ellen got 25, mine twisted in prison. Russell's 15, life lessons, decisions, collisions. Gavin's first degree, life's without parole's vision. Cold case keep, dark deeds, lethal incision. From the middle of the night whispers to cops on the streets, to lies and manipulation, the scheme was elite. Family ties, they were broken, the truth tangled in deceit. Multi-syllables sharp like the bats in this beat. Every night, bright lights, secrets unraveling. Every line, every rhyme, evidence is traveling. Power, protection, manipulation, battling. In this case, Friar's reality was unraveling. Our heart goes out to Aaron Fryer. All right, let me tell you about a trust so deep, it's the kind of secrets that a killer would keep. A story's about a doctor. He was a giving man with an open hand, and a wolf who took it all just like he planned. This is Rhymes and Crimes. Let's get into it. It all started with a phone call. It was a friend, he was filled with dread. He said, "Hey, can you check on Eric? I think he might be dead." A welfare check confirmed the absolute fear. Dr. Garcia's life, it was over. The end was finally here. Cops searched the house, there was no forced entry, not even a trace. But something felt all wrong all over the place. Electronics, his valuables, his life's collected art. 30 bottles of wine, torn right from his heart. And upstairs, the back door was propped right open with a pillow on the floor. And every single smoke alarm was ripped out. Oh Lord. The friend, his name was Jordan. He's the one who made the initial call. But his other friends said, "Eric, suicidal? Hell no, not at all." So the cops, they dug into Jordan, and his truth began to seep. His real name was actually Trevor Cruz, and his secrets, they ran deep. He was a stripper, a porn star, who was a masseuse by trade. He had met the doctor after a doctor's accident, and the perfect scene was made. The doctor needed therapy for healing, so Trevor played that caring part. He started massaging the doctor's privates, but he was really manipulating his heart. But it worked, and Eric fell and became his sugar dad. The final proof, though, was chilling. On a CCTV screen, Trevor was caught buying charcoal and things like these. It wasn't about depression, it was about the gold. To drain a man's fortune and become a wealthy man, a friendly face, a helping hand, a carefully laid plan. The autopsy report came back, and the science, it doesn't lie. The 2 reasons that the doctor had to die. A morphine overdose to make his body weak, and the poison in the air so he could never even speak. The cops found out about something that was moving across the states. It was a package to Seattle. It was sealed up tight in a wooden crate. They intercepted it and popped it open, and they couldn't believe their eyes. Tons of gold and silver, a king's ransom in disguise. So they set a trap for Trevor. They said, "Hey, your package has arrived." He walked right in to get it, and then his freedom, it took a dive. The cuffs went on his wrist, and the final act was played. They searched his house and found the phones that were stored away. Yeah, they found the laptops and the wine that he stole. The final nail in the coffin of a black and greedy soul. He got first degree for murder. He got first degree for theft. 99 years, no parole. Shit, absolutely nothing left. A giving man was taken by a hand he thought would heal. But he found out the hard way. Be careful of who of which you deal. Our hearts go out to the victims of this tragic tale. This is another chapter closed. This is Rhymes and Crimes, for real. Yo, pay attention. This is what happens if you're a beater or a cheater. In Olive Branch, Mississippi, where the money is well kept and secrets are buried, while at residence they slept, there was this man named John Wilty. He was 50 years old, with a story of marriages. They're tarnished and cold. 3 times he had tried, and 3 times he had failed, because the vows that he took, they're the ones he derailed. He was a cheater, he was a player, he lived in his own lust, turning love into ashes and promises into dust. His 4th wife, Angela, she knew of his ways. She stuck by his side through the fog and all the haze. But a storm was now brewing. There was a debt to be paid for a life of betrayal and trust disarrayed. So one morning, the calm of the suburbs was cracked. It was a 911 call for a man. He had been attacked. The cops hit the scene, and the sight, it was profane. John Wilty was laying there, and he was soaked in the rain. It was own blood, a puddle of crimson and red. He was shot in the chest, and he was shot in the head. And a trail of his own blood told the story of pain. The cops, they went to Angela's house to deliver the news, to study her character, and look for clues. But her reaction was vacant, and her action was frigid. Her story was rigid, and she wasn't the victim. She wasn't emotional, no shock, and there was no sorrow. Like John would be back on this side of tomorrow. She was calm as a bomb, totally acting numb, like her husband's demise had left her just feeling dumb. She told the detectives of a tale of abuse. John used to beat her and let the rage loose. But the cops, they were suspicious, and they tricked reports for her. And they found an old file that was much shorter for her, where she was the bully who couldn't be calmer. She had stabbed him and tried to make John take the blame for the trauma. And there was residue on her hands, on her face, on her shoes, just for fulfilling their plans. The evidence tangible, and that motive was clear. The end of her marriage, it was finally here. In her phone, they found messages, flirty and crass, with several new men of a whole different class. The cops said, "Now Angela, you're going to jail." But her daughter was there, and she started to wail. Just kidding, bro. They started talking about life as nothing was wrong. Like her dad wasn't dead, like they knew all along. The only time tears even started to fall is when the cops wouldn't let her go smoke after all. Ooh, the story's getting heavy, and the truth is about to break. And if you're following the trail, for goodness sake, hit the like button and subscribe to the crime. Now back to the story, one rhyme at a time. So the evidence wasn't enough for a charge. They had to let her go. Angela's new life, it was ready to go. She cashed in the life insurance, a stack of cold cash, and then she went and spent it on lavish gifts, quick and in a flash. And there was no grieving. She wasn't mourning, just spending that money. A secret so heavy, it'll eventually crack. And the truth always has a way of finding its track. She had argued with Bradley, that was her son, he was torn. She asked him to get it, the tool that she had used. The gun was in the bucket, but her mind was confused. Why did she ask her own son to complete her dark deed? To bury that evidence and to plant the last seed. But he did not want to believe what his mom was admitting. The terrible truth, and his world was splitting. He went to the cops, his loyalty was frayed. And he told them the truth of how the trust she had betrayed. He said that she had killed him, his own father, froze his blood, and told him the place where the gun was, it was a flood. A confession of guilt, it was a son's heavy heart to tear his own family completely apart. So the cops went and they searched it, the house and the friend, brought the whole case to an end. Because of the sun, yeah, they found the gun. It was in a bucket of grime. This was the end of the line for the murderous crime. And on the gun was John's blood and the prints of his wife. It was the tool she had used to extinguish his life. And the gun was registered right to her name. It was the end of her freedom. It was the end of the game. A year after John had been left in the street, the cops came for Angela. The cycle was complete. She got 20 to life for the murder she planned, a story of vengeance across the whole land. Now John, he did not deserve it to die in the night, to be shot in the dark, and to lose his whole life. But the question is one that will echo and bend. If he had been a true husband, would this have been his end? I'd like to know what you think, my friend. In a holy stay, where she studied to pray, Angela Luck, with her faith and her luck, ran out in a chapel keep where darkness was struck. She studied the tome in her quiet stone home, a future unknown, and she was completely alone. She walked the straight path, avoiding all wrath, unaware of the serpent and its aftermath. Like that, her presence was lost at a terrible cost, a ghost in a haze for 5 long days. Not a soul heard a peep from the secrets to keep, while the darkness would creep and bury her deep. The search team arrived with a silent scream of dread, for the whispers of something much worse was said. They combed through the crypt where the scripture was gripped, past the cold empty pews where the faithful had slipped. They tested the floors and behind all the doors for the source of the unseen horror causing all of the terror. They tore down the wood where the altar stood as a splintering sound from beneath the holy ground. They found her down there, a soul in despair, in the choking black dust and stale stagnant air. Her mouth was sealed, but her fate was revealed. A scream held inside that just couldn't be concealed. But crimson stains told the story of pain and brute force, a life taken cruelly without any remorse. The evil was stark, a predator's mark of sexual horror left in the dark. The attack in the gray, where they took her away before she was dragged to where the body would lay. So they questioned the staff and sifted the lies from the chaff on a dark twisted path on the devil's behalf. All had a place to account for their space, except for one case who vanished with grace. The gardener Pat, a name who fell flat when they searched his lawn, when they seen he was gone. So they searched his name, but it carried no fame, just another lie giving them reason to pry. But the truth was a chiller, yeah, he was a genuine killer. His real name was Tobin, and the evil was woven. He'd murdered before, and upped his score, and 2 other girls who were seen nevermore. And then his ex-wife told her tale of a life beyond the pale, of terror and nails that would never grow stale. And a print on the trash in a desperate dash sealed his fate in a flash, in a final death crash. The hunt was now in gear, a united front of pure fear. The killer with many names could be anywhere near. Operation Anagram was used to find the scam of a man. He was a wolf dressed as a lamb. 400 miles south from the word of the mouth of a nurse who saw the demon and ended the drought. He was walking down hospital floors and through hospital doors, ignoring all the laws and his own fatal flaws. James Kinney, he claimed, a monster untamed, a butcher unashamed, and forever unblamed. They flew down and caught him, the serpent at last. His future is prison, his freedom was past. He got life in a cage to end the rampage, rage to turn his last page on his murderous age. Now you know what the sight looks like of the lingering night and the evil that might just be hiding in light. So in the comment section below, let your theories grow on what secrets you think are on the dark brink. And if you crave these dark stories where nightmares find glory, then stab that like button for a lot more gory. And to make sure that you don't miss the next chilling crime, make sure you're subscribed and locked in for all time. And I can't wait to see you again next time. Thank you for joining me on Rhymes and Crimes.